This is News 6 Tonight.
And this is the Wednesday edition of News 6 Tonight, the Wednesday very cold edition of News 6 Tonight. You're a Floridian through and through.
Absolutely.
You're not even wearing a puffy jacket tonight.
Well, it's because I left in the morning and I was in a big rush. And as soon as I stepped out the door, I was like,
You had regrets?
Is it worth it to go back in with all of this crap in my hands and grab a jacket and possibly be late to work? So I sacrificed for the greater good.
Oh, that's
I got here on
to
time.
be here on time. That is very important.
Mm-hmm.
We have had a cold stretch going for a little bit, and it's going to continue into the weekend. And when you hear some of the numbers the meteorologists are just tossing around willy-nilly, not even willy-nilly, they know what they're talking
tossing
about.
Out numbers.
I found it reckless when I heard meteorologist Julie Broughton today say that wind chill this weekend could be in the single digits.
Crazy is that? Is that real life?
I don't. It's not going to be my real life. I'm not coming outside.
Yeah.
And I like outside.
Unless you got to get to work on time like I did today. And you'll be all puffer jacketed up. This is Ginger Gadsden. My name's Matt Austin. We do this little show called News 6 Tonight. We hope you like it. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, drop us a comment. And our man DJ, who you're going to meet a little bit later, very handsome guy over here, he is going to put up your comments and we'll get to see him live as we stream.
We love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So, of course, we're starting off talking about the weather, and we have our whininess, but we can put on the parkas, and I know you like to wear a sweater vest and a cardigan sometimes.
I do, and a dickie occasionally. I love today that you said, and I had just learned this from Matt. He said alligators can't put on sweaters.
They can't put on cardigans was my exact quote. So we went to Gatorland today. We always are trying to do these news stories to show how the cold is impacting. But when we take an outside shot, you can't tell how cold it is. It just looks like a nice day.
You know what I call that? That's your Hinge or your Bumble profile. And it's like, oh, it looks really good. Let's swipe on that. I don't even know which way you swipe because I'm an old married lady.
I don't know either.
Okay.
I'm surprised you even know what Hinge is.
I have friends.
Pamela says hi, DJ.
Oh, hi.
You can say hi to us too, Pamela.
Hi to
Good
DJ?
to see you.
He's new. We've been
Hi,
here.
Pamela. I'm back.
There he is. There's our boy.
That's great.
All right, good to see you too, Pamela. But yeah, this whole dating app thing is funny to me. But so we went out to Gatorland to check and see how our friendly gators are reacting to this cold weather.
How do gators handle cold weather?
Honestly, they're actually really good. So naturally, alligators live as far north as North Carolina and as far west as Texas. So there's gators in other states that are used to freezing temperatures, of course. Here in Florida, doesn't freeze too much, at least not here in Central Florida. So these guys, and gals, just really stay in the water. It's a lot warmer than the air. For reptiles, to go from 35, 36 degrees as a low to, we're talking 25, 26, a 10-degree difference on the weekend. That's a lot for a reptile.
We know other animals will hibernate.
Mm-hmm.
What do alligators do?
They do a form of hibernation called brumation. And basically they stick their nose above the surface of the water, let the water freeze around them, and a day, 2 days, maybe a week at the most, that it takes a few inches of ice to thaw out, they go on their merry way. They can sense that it's going to cool down, winter's coming, they might eat a little more, to kind of beef up a little bit.
They're saying hi.
They are saying hi this morning. That's called bellowing.
That's not a burr?
No, it's not a bird, not at all. But it could be, hey, this is my spot, this is where I want to be, don't stand in my sunspot.
Yeah, get out of my sunspot.
I feel like Brandon and our DJ need a podcast together. Those two could really make some noise.
I think so. But those gators, I love Gatorland, and I'm glad that they explained exactly what happens to them during this cold spell. Because we've seen lizards and iguanas fall out of trees.
Yes, and we're fine with that. But we like the gators. I like how they get their noses out. I've seen them frozen in Texas and that sort of thing. Take a good look at a gator's nose, by the way, because if you ever get attacked, the only way to get out of that thing is to jam your fingers right into the nose. You want to survive or not?
I think I'm a survivor, and I would like to live, but I don't want to encounter a gator.
I don't want to see its nose.
I do not. I will do anything under my power to avoid that. But I love having that perspective of seeing what happens. It's just a different look. We tell you how they keep the strawberries and all the blueberries and all that kind of things, like, nice and good for us. So the animals deserve that too. All right, moving on. A Central Florida staple has...
They're talking about Geneva horses over here with their puffy blankets.
Oh, our horses in Geneva will have their... Oh my God. You know, that's a great idea. Have you ever seen horses in the morning on a racetrack and the steam coming off of them?
Oh, yeah. Is
it is magical. It is
Yeah.
magical. So thank you for
Geneva's
for
a
letting
beautiful
us
place,
know.
too.
Is that the same Pamela that said hello to DJ? Okay, Pamela, you're forgiven now. Good comment. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. All right, as I was saying, there is a Florida staple. It is right down the street from us. And I remember when I first started working here, at night you'd leave the building, you're like, what is that smell? And it was kind of delicious smelling, but also
It depends on the
also
night.
offensive at the same
It could
time.
be a
You
little
didn't know?
funky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We're talking about the Frito-Lay plant. It closed down last year, and today they started demolishing the building. So our Tylisa Hampton went out, and you could see them like tearing things down. You could hear them actually. So she tells us about the people who are still looking for work after this plant closed.
Bending and breaking down metal.
The demolition of the Frito-Lay plant in Orlando has begun after PepsiCo announced last year it would close 2 facilities, laying off 500 employees.
The company has said the decision for the closure and demo was driven by business needs. Pepsi says workers will get transition assistance, career support, and pay and benefits through the process.
Although there's been no word yet on what could happen to this property after this demo, we did learn from County Commissioner Michael Scott's office they are still planning to further help people who lost their job.
It's devastating.
That was Scott back in December when the county held a career fair in the wake of the layoffs.
I just pray that everybody here who's looking for a job will get what they need.
However, weeks later, his office says many workers are still looking for a new job. Now his office is in the early stages of planning another job fair, specifically for those workers who may have a harder time finding their next paycheck.
Yeah, you hate to see this as somebody who pays close attention to the economy.
Yeah.
When you see hundreds of people get fired and then those people are struggling to try to find a new job. It's a really big company here.
And we've seen that happen all over Central Florida. You know, they closed the Kroger facility in Groveland, and that was like 1,400 people. And here you're adding 400 more, and we're having layoffs with Amazon now. I mean, those numbers are starting to really add up and hit close to home.
And these are the jobs that really are the concrete foundation for an economy. If people can't get those kind of jobs, or if they're getting laid off from them, it could be a real problem looking to the future. So hopefully those folks land on their feet. The smell, because we're right by it.
You don't miss it.
I wasn't a fan. I was like, is that what a Fritos? Is that what you have to do to make a Frito taste good?
You don't have pets?
No, not
I'm
anymore. I have a
I'm
fish.
gonna bring my little cinnamon over once, and I'm gonna let you smell her feet, just like a Frito. It does.
That's disgusting, and I don't even really know what to do with that comment. But please do not bring your dog around
Whatever
so I
you
can
will.
smell her Frito feet. All right, let's talk about Brightline and move on to something less weird. So I'm a little worried about Brightline. So I don't know if you've ever taken the Brightline train, but it now extends from Orlando International Airport all the way down to Miami. I was very excited about this because I never really cared about public transportation as a Florida guy growing up. I just never had that. And then when I visited Europe, I was like, my Lord, this is amazing.
Put me on a train.
Yeah, put me on a train. I don't have to drive. I can watch. I have Wi-Fi. I can hang out with my kids. This is great. It was very reasonably priced over there. So they bring in Brightline, and it has a lot of those features, not the reasonably priced so much, which is the reason I think it's struggling. But Brightline is really facing some hardships right now. They're potentially looking at maybe defaulting on $1.2 billion in debt. And I'm not talking about years from now. I'm saying in the next 12 months. They've gotten 2 big credit downgrades now, according to reports. They even got a new CEO this month to try to turn things around. This is a guy who was over in Europe. Apparently he knows this business very well. Hopefully he can turn it around. But they are operating on 9-month operating losses of more than $100 million.
That's a hole.
They cannot pay their debts right now. Even so, you know, when they do these economic forecasts for a company, they have good case scenarios and worst case scenarios. Well, apparently last fiscal year was basically the worse than the worst case. They hadn't even planned for it. It was a few
gosh.
million short of that. So that's how much struggling they're doing. And I'm curious as to what you think. I know you've taken it. I feel like I had the perfect situation to take the Brightline. My wife and I were going to Miami. I was very excited. I'm like, we'll jump on the Brightline. And then I priced it out. And it was $100 a person each way. So now I'm looking at $400 to travel
fly
to Miami. I could almost fly. I sure as heck could take my car. And then I get down there and I have a car and I've just saved $350 basically.
And that's the problem with a lot of people who take Brightline. They love the service. It's clean, it's efficient,
Great
it's fast.
service. That's
Oh my
the thing.
gosh. But it is a little pricey. But you have different levels too. It's almost, you can do first class, you can do.
I was like, I'm going to take her first class. I don't want to be fancy with the wife.
Yeah, of course,
no,
your
honey,
first time.
well, jump in the truck. We're not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to make it appealing to the everyday person, they're going to have to come down with those prices, but it doesn't sound like that's even an option right now if they are in the hole by that much.
You know what I think the issue is going to be? New management's probably going to come in and say, hey, we need more money, so we have to raise prices. And people just aren't going to pay for it. I think it's going to make the situation worse. And when you look at some of the reasons they're doing so bad, they actually have grown significantly in the amount of people using the service. However, a lot of their fares are discounted. And so you'll see BOGOs.
Get deals, yeah.
They'll throw a little Publix in there, give me a BOGO deal or give better prices at certain times, which is what I think they need to lean into more. Because it really is a great service, and I want it to succeed.
Well, maybe you could
desperately.
advise the new leadership.
I'm sure this guy could learn a lot from me.
I mean, you have
The news guy.
your MBA now.
I do have my MBA, but I think he probably has a little more than that. But I hope that the solution is not to charge more, because I think that's going to be a big error if they do that.
We'll see. Okay, before we go to break, it is a heavy day, and I like to call it a remembrance day. And when I heard that it had been 40 years since the Challenger disaster, I just stopped in my tracks. I'm like, that was 40 years ago. And if you were a kid in elementary school, you likely saw this because this thing was special. It had the first teacher that was going to go into space,
and
right?
Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission.
Their AV teams came and set up the TVs in classrooms, and it was just a special day, and you were waiting for this moment to happen. And what happened was something that we could not have imagined until it did. That was 73 seconds into the actual liftoff from Kennedy Space Center. All 7 people on board died, including Krista McCullough, who was the elementary school teacher. And she was going to be the first one because NASA had just started that Teachers in Space program. And it was a day that people will never forget. And it changed the way NASA operates. But they had some issues. It was a cold day. Seeing that just, breaks your heart. The weather, kind of like what we're seeing right now, is very cold. And it turns out one of what's called O-rings.
O-ring, right? It was a little rubber O-ring.
The smallest part you can imagine on that giant vehicle. Yeah. And so they changed protocols, changed the way things operate, and it changed the culture at NASA after this disaster, because we had not, in our time, witnessed something like that. Of course, the people in the Apollo era and the Gemini era had witnessed things like that, but not us. And it held a special place in my heart because my family watched, because Ron McNair is from South Carolina. I'm from South Carolina, and we're not from the same city, but we claimed him as our own. Yeah. He's from Lake City, South Carolina, and we were so proud of this African-American man going into space. I think this was going to be his second trip. And when this happened, it was just devastating. I get weepy just thinking about it because it changed so many people's lives. But, thank God for the men and women who are brave enough to handle space exploration, because it's not for everyone. And every time there is a crewed launch now, we pay close attention.
It's such a good reminder because we're sending up so many rockets these days. But as we lean more into putting astronauts into space, like we have this crewed launch that could happen
Artemis
this year.
Coming up, yeah.
Artemis, where they will go farther in space than we've ever gone before, supposedly. The stakes are high when humans are. Who cares?
Space is hard, man.
If it blows up and nobody's on there, no big deal.
Correct.
But man, when there's human life on there, everybody should be watching
and
paying attention for sure. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss a lady who got mad at the ex
And I have a question about.
And then she pulled out a cleaver.
And I have a big question.
I know you do, and it's ridiculous, the question she's going to ask. Stick around.
All right, welcome back to News 6 tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for everyone who is watching and commenting. Norma, thank you. It's hi, Ginger and Matt. Y'all staying warm. Didn't see the weather app, so I don't know how cold it's going to be. I like seeing y'all on the news. Have a wonderful and blessed night. You too, Norma.
Yeah, glad
Thank
we could
you.
update you. Going to get real cold in the coming days. So bundle
Speaking of cold,
up. Oh, we
Matt.
also had Sheldon. Are they getting the clientele for the new route? I think he's talking about Brightline. And the new route, you might be talking, Sheldon, about going to Tampa. They're still trying to figure that aspect out. If he's talking about Orlando being the new route, which has been up for a bit now, that actually has significantly, I think it doubled the number of people who were traveling on Brightline when they added Orlando to the route. So adding Tampa, I think, would be huge, but will they have the money to do it? Thanks for weighing in, Sheldon. Appreciate you. All right, let's talk about exes. All my exes live in Texas. So
I don't have any exes.
I don't have any exes. You're right. I married the woman I met at 16. But and I'm thankful when I read stories like this next one. I'm thankful that I've been with her for a very long time. So Guy is asleep, I think, and his ex walks in out of the blue. He's in his bed. Ex comes in. All right, I want you to picture this, boys.
All right.
She's got a cleaver in one hand, and she's got a rock in the other. Like, basically, which one of these do you want? And he took
I got my mic and my backup mic.
I got my mic and my backup mic. She's quoting Joe Dirt on us. So investigators say she told him, this is what she said. This is her quote. "You need to die.
Wow.
You have to die," before then chucking that rock at him. And then she comes at him with the cleaver. So her plan was twofold: throw the rock, then chase with the cleaver. Officials say he was able to wrestle that cleaver away from her. He called 911. That's when she took off. But when officers arrived, he told them she sent multiple video messages threatening to kill him in the days leading up to all this. This lady, her name's Laura Beth Blankenship. If you're on Hinge and you see her, you might want to swipe. What did we discuss? Left?
I don't know which way you swipe.
Or right if you're into that stuff. I don't know.
Up?
But down. Maybe just cancel your app. Blankenship is charged with, I shouldn't be laughing, but attempted first-degree murder, among other charges. Relationships can be tough and very difficult, but maybe just block the guy and ghost him.
You know what my question is.
Okay, go ahead and ask it.
What did he do? No, honestly.
What
I know
did
you guys,
he do?
No, I'm not blaming the victim.
Oh, it sure sounds like you're blaming the victim.
But something happened that caused this lady to become unhinged. Because you just don't wake up one day and go, you know what? I'm going to take this rock and this meat cleaver.
I'm going to choose violence.
That doesn't happen. So I'd like to know more in the rest of the story. I'm glad that guy was not hurt and he was able to disarm her and take away that meat cleaver and, dodge the rock or whatever. But my question is, what happened that made her so angry that she had to go over there and try to do that?
Why do you just assume that he did something terribly wrong?
You've met y'all, right? That is why. That is why. That's all I'm going to say.
Fine.
Okay.
Maybe he did.
We're going to talk about the latest scam that's going on, and it involves puppies. That makes me so, speaking of angry, that makes me angry. Not angry enough to do what she did, but
she's reaching for her meat cleaver.
There is a couple who their German Shepherd puppy escaped through a crack in a fence, right? And they posted on Next Door Neighbor, which you would normally do on Facebook, posted pictures. And someone sent them a picture of their dog on the ER table at a vet saying, "Oh, we found your dog."
This is crazy. And it looked like their dog.
It did. And we found your dog. Here's a picture of it. We need $1,900 because that's what it's going to cost us.
Yeah, cute little face.
So they sent the money via Zelle, and immediately they knew something was wrong because they went back to the house, to their home.
There's a dog.
Their dog. All right, we have a little bit of sound to go with that.
10:58 p.m. So it all sounded legit, and that's where I was like, okay, then can we come see her? And we're like, oh yeah, 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So can we come see her? And of course, they didn't see her. They saw her back at home. And what these people had done, they probably took the images from Nextdoor or
Yeah.
Facebook and generated a very
said,
realistic AI image.
Chat GPT make
Yeah.
this dog look like
Of
it
course,
just came
we've
out
all
of
done
surgery.
it. We've all done it. It's just that is AI.
Yeah.
And it is their dog, but it's not the situation the dog was in. But they say they've been scammed out of $1,900. Pet hospitals want you to know they will never ask you for money up front like that, especially in that situation. That
So
would be the
somebody
worst thing to
says,
do.
Ginger, Cinnamon, we found
I'm robbing
her.
a bank.
But
You don't have to finish
but
that
you
sentence.
wouldn't necessarily jump to pay them. What I don't understand is why I would go, which hospital? I will run to that hospital and then I will pay. Zelle?
Sometimes you're just not thinking clearly.
It's always
Matt.
either, if it's Zelle, if it's cryptocurrency, I think you can track Zelle. I bet they can catch
It's
these
pretty
scammers.
emotional when your pet is hurt or something's wrong
And that's
or
what
they're
they're
missing.
banking
Yeah.
on. Yeah. All right. Coming up, we're going to take a quick break. The question that we're answering
Ooh.
today, we're going to bring DJ in. Is Publix still the GOAT? Is it still the greatest of all time when it comes to grocery stores? Maybe not.
More than 1 million views and more than 1,000 comments. Everybody's talking about this post on the News 6 Facebook page. It says Publix is no longer Florida's top grocery store. Bruce says, according to who? Well, Bruce, it's according to the American Customer Satisfaction Index. And in this article on clickorlando.com, we have the full list of the top 20 grocery stores in Florida based on customer satisfaction scores. But I do have to spoil it for the purpose of this conversation. This report found that Trader Joe's took the top spot this time. And this story has people feeling all sorts of ways. Like Patricia, who says, there's another grocery store brand in Florida. Marissa says, I don't even know where a Trader Joe's is, but I can tell you where about 10 Publix stores are. Dan says, Trader Joe's is a specialty store, not a supermarket. Hard to compare the two. Kevin says something similar. You can't compare the two. Publix is everywhere. TJ's is in very specific prime locations. Robin doesn't believe it. She says the poll must have been taken inside Trader Joe's. Michelle says Trader Joe's is affordable, convenient, and overall has good quality food. I wish there were more locations. And my favorite comment is from Carol, who says, we need a Wegmans. Carol, I agree. But not surprising at all, there are a lot of Publix defenders in the comments on this one. People love their pub subs and their BOGO deals. But what do you think? Is Trader Joe's the new top store in town? Or is it even in your town? Use the QR code right there to join the conversation and let us know what's your favorite grocery store.
All right, so
Are you going to go on about Wegmans now?
we are going to talk. Do we should? How much time do we got?
Can they sponsor us then if you're going to talk about that?
We need, because Wegmans is unbelievable. I don't know how far south they go. Maybe North Carolina they might be down to now.
Well, that makes
Wegmans is
them
great.
irrelevant.
They are pretty fancy. They're good.
They're pretty
No,
irrelevant.
But
yeah.
it's not going to beat a Publix. If you were born in Florida like I was engaged in a Publix. I had my first pub sub in a Publix.
We need to do a whole episode on this story about the engagement. We talked about it a
just
little
heard
bit.
the whole
but
Basically, the story is I'm the most romantic guy you've ever met in your life.
because it sounds unbelievable.
All
What a
right,
great
she
story.
said yes. She had my babies. It's been great.
Well,
Wow.
I would quickly say there were, I'm not kidding, there's 1,200 comments when I last checked, and it was hard to find it. It was like all very pro Publix. Everyone's
Yeah.
like, "What are you talking about?"
Publix is clickbait, man. Anytime you mention it in an article, people are clickety-click clacking on it.
As it should be. Good call, DJ. Nice job on that. We appreciate
Thank
it. We
you.
appreciate you.
Have a
great
good night.